What is going on, everybody? It is Axis for this week's PGA Lineup Edge Optimizer at FTNDaily.com. If you're not aware, this is relatively new, so check it out. I'm going to walk through, as I have been doing weekly, this week's PGA Tour contest, which is the RSM Classic. If you're not a member yet, you can sign up with promo code AXIS. You get 10% off. You get all the PGA content plus the optimizer. So solid deal. Go check this out. First thing I'm going to do, I'm looking at DraftKings. We do have the FanDuel loaded as well. I play primarily on DraftKings, so that's what I'm going to walk through. So first things first, normally I bump this just to get rid of any low projection, right? Potentially some amateurs I may not want to play, some older gentlemen who may get in on 300 plus cut exemptions, career money, things of that nature. It just really clips out guys who I view have no upside. It is a median projection. However, I just like to clip the bottom. It's something I do. You don't have to do that, obviously. Salary cap, I'll leave at $50K. Typically, I think I'll do two unique, mix it up a little, mix the player pool up a little bit. You may find when you're generating your lineups later, you're not quite getting the ownership percentages you want, so maybe you'll go back to only one unique, help get the percentages a hair closer. We'll do 20. There are 20 max on DraftKings. I think that's a good number just to mess around with, right? And you can enter those in, I think they have a $3 typically. You can even do it in the 15 this week. It is the final PGA event of the year. We do have a couple Euro contests coming up in December, though. The South African Swing and the PGA Optimizer will have the European slates loaded in there as well. Randomization, I've talked about this a few times. I don't know, maybe Kyle Murray, you can watch the Optimal Show. He might talk more about randomization. I normally just pick a number between 8 and 12. It throws a little variance into the projection. Projections are not perfect, right? So this just gives us some up and down 12% of the projection. So first things first for me also, I uncheck everybody in the 20 max. I would prefer not to have anybody over 60% owned, so that's what that number is there. Drops the max. First things first, Scotty Scheffler sitting up top 10-9. Course history specialist Webb Simpson 10-7. Louis 10-4. Cam Smith and Harris English run out in the 10K range. I do like to play one or two guys from this range in the GPPs. Upon first glance, I imagine Harris English may be the lowest owned. It is Tuesday mid-afternoon, so again, that's kind of a hunch. We don't have our projected ownership in here quite yet, but those will get added. You can come back and amend if necessary. So he is potentially a guy that I'd be willing to play here. Georgia guy, Sea Island Mafia, all that fun stuff. I do like Louis quite a bit, so I will play Louis at 10.4. I don't know what people are going to do with Scheffler at 10-9. He loses his biggest weapon here with the driver. However, he did finish 5th here in 2019. Obviously, he's skilled enough to continue to play solid golf without the distance advantage at this particular course. Courses, they play Seaside and Plantation for the first 2 rounds. Then we get to Seaside on the weekend. I like Cam Smith too, right? Like none of these guys really stand out as like locks for me, except Louis. I do really like Louis at 10K, 10.4. I think for now I will highlight Scheffler as my other. Might add Harris English later, though. We shall see. Corey Connors, 9-9. Joaquin Niemann, Russell Henley, I think I can get behind. Again, I don't think bombers are guys you need to exclude this week necessarily. Just know that, if someone can typically gain, 0.3 to 0.5 strokes per round off the tee, typically with distance, that's just not a given this week, right? Like you look at historical strokes gain here, it's hard to separate this course. Guys who play well here, it's going to be played relatively the same way. you try to do some gaining on the greens, right? So Taylor Gooch, 9,300. I'll continue to play him. Kisner's going to be just a fade due to ownership. I mean, everyone will talk about him and his success here for good reason. 9,200 seems to put him pretty live. I guess I'll let Kevin Kisner potentially beat me this week. The beauty about golf with the finishing position points too, though, is like if Taylor Gooch plays, maybe he's a poor example because he might also be popular, but like he can play just as well. Like it's not on an NBA team where if one guy goes off for 50, that's probably going to limit the rest of his team's scoring, right? Like he's producing a lot of the buckets, but Kevin Kisner making 15 birdies doesn't mean Adam Scott can't make 15 birdies. It doesn't limit what Adam Scott is capable of per se in scoring. Obviously, if Kisner hits a couple extra birdies to win, he gets the extra finishing bonus, right? Which could be big if you think he's going to win. So, sometimes it's easier for me to fade guys looking at, like, if I have another guy who I like, who I think can be just as successful, I'll play the lower ownership guy, right? And as you can see from my projection here, I'm really just not that big on Kisner. Obviously, there's some course form baked into that. Not a lot for me, right? It is what it is. Not going to be a Kisner week for me personally. If I lose, well, so be it. It happens a couple times a year, fading some course history guys, and it works out brilliantly a couple times a year. The key is the brilliant ones. You're hoping to hit that top heavy payout. So Justin Rose has been playing some pretty solid golf, 8,800. I do like Jay Rose a little bit this week. I think Mackenzie Hughes is in play. Joel Damon feels like a course Todd would set up well for. I don't know. Not someone I really like to play, but here we are. Once again, that's personal bias. Sometimes you just got to suck it up. Seamus Power, 8,200. Johnny Vegas is a lot of driver. That would be a little tougher. Charles Howard III. Yup. Yeah, I can do it. Brian Harmon, similar vein. I can play him if I need to add more in this particular salary range. Kevin Struman will be a go. We'll play Luke List. Again, the lack of putting upside can be a little terrifying at this particular course, where I just said that's a great way to separate yourself here because of how easy the fairways are to hit for the most part. The greens as well, high percentages, so there's going to be a lot of putts. You got to roll them in. 7,500. We're asking Luke to make the cut, roll some putts, get a top 20, please. Things of that nature. Let's see. Griot's kind of in that same boat, right? Grace 7,400. I think we can get behind some Grace this week. Sebastian Munoz, solid. See here. Now we're getting into the thick of it. My 7 under 7 article is out as well. Deep dive, the bottom of this field. Check out 7 particular golfers that I like below 7K to mix into this as well. Maybe I'll pick a few of those for these purposes. Might go back and add more later, right? The article isn't necessarily play all 7. Unless you're Hatch, who likes to use that article as a core article, which is a bold move, but it worked out very well for him last week in his single entry GPPs. I believe he got second place in a couple of them, so big takedown week for our boy Phil. Cam Davis, yes. Neesmith can't putt to save his life, but I am worried maybe a little bit about Neesmith if he gets talked up being from the area. Carolinas, I get it. Not exactly Sea Island, Georgia, but let's see. We're going to need a few other guys down here for sure. Hudson Swafford. Nobody down super cheap that I absolutely love. I guess we can get behind Putnam, right? Aaron Rye at an accuracy course. Yep. Works on the European Tour. I'll keep riding that a little bit here. On his maiden PGA voyage season. Pat Kazire, he could be somebody that enough people play. So right now I'm at 20 golfers. That's kind of on That's okay. We'll see what we produce to start with that, right? So we hit generate. Come on down. So we got Luke List at 55. Right off the bat, I know that is not something I want to do. So we're going to go down to 20 right away. Same with Griot. And again, this just leads me to believe I may not have enough guys in that particular salary range to make some of these work. So honestly, right away, I'll go back up one unique player. You can hit generate there again or hit optimize right here as well. So again, though, we have Griot. So right now it's focusing mainly on making me lineups instead of listening to my ownership projections, which you can toggle a button up top here, prioritize completing lineups. It just may not be able to sometimes. Oh, that time it did a little better job, but now Luke List is up instead of Griot, right? So like that just tells me, all right, I need more guys in this mid-range perhaps, or I need to allow higher ownerships for others. Don't particularly care. I mean, Matthias Schwab, maybe. Again, Patrick Rogers, they're doable. All right, so that helped me out quite a bit, although this Griot one is still... So here's another little thing you can do. Like, I still want Griot, but I don't want a lot. So if we take 3 points out of my projection, that'll help a little bit. But Luke List is back up. So those two guys are someone you can... These are just little techniques you can use to fiddle around and get your percentages perhaps a little more to your liking. So that... it's just going to be difficult with the particular player lineups. I might have to just stomach Griot and List at higher, or go fiddle some of these guys and allow them to be boosted a little bit more. But overall, I don't hate the look of this. I think it's a little too much Grace, Griot, and List for me, so I may have to do some rearranging there. But Sheffield at 35%. I got 55% of Louis, 50% of Gooch. Those are two golfers that I like quite a bit this week. And the rest fill-ins seem pretty solid. There's only one of Mac Hughes, so I guess I could bump his up if I wanted to a little bit. Justin Rose, perhaps I want a little more, bump him up to 16%. And you can even go up here and do this as well with the smiley face. So like you can give a little 5% boost like to Charles Howell. Just some little tips and tricks here to get your percentages closer to where you would like them. So once you're complete, we go ahead, download, upload them right to DraftKings, easy as that. So this is kind of where I'm starting this week. Like I said, Louis and Gooch, no problem there. I'm going to have to continue to tinker a little bit with the rest of these guys. So, and again, if you want to build even more lineups, there's some videos below the optimizer to help you out. Here's the 101 crash course. Here's building 150. They're not necessarily golf, but the concepts obviously can translate to any sport. So yeah, hopefully you can use this to your advantage. We've been showing some great success with this since rolling it out across all the sports at FTN Daily. So if you're not a member already, again, ftndaily.com, use promo code AXIS, get 10% off. And then come find us in the Discord, chat it up, ask me any questions you need. Hope to see you soon.